Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Results Roundtable podcast. I'm here today with Stefan Getty, owner of Cloak Dagger Tattoo Parlor and Barbershop, and more recently owner of a franchise in Vegas. Yeah. Stefan, can you give us a brief background on your journey, where it started, how you got into tattooing in the early days, and sort of briefly where you've come, and then we'll go back over it all again.
Yeah, cool. Like you said, my name's Stefan Getty. I own Cloak Dagger Tattoo, which opened in 2012, but I've been tattooing a long time before that. I got into tattooing when I was 14 years old, hanging around tattoo shops with the undesirables, the underworld. I was capable and able to get a work experience in school via that world in my local tattoo shop. It was actually not that local, it was in Ballymena. It was owned by a guy called Rob Doherty, and he took me on the basis I lied and said it was an art gallery. Because like if I said to my school, here, I'm going to go work in a tattoo shop for 2 weeks on my work experience, they would have been like, no chance. There's no way. So we conspired a story to say that it would be an art gallery, because there was an art gallery like 2 doors up.
Right.
So they had said like, we'll ring you when we're going to call in, so it's not walking in the middle of a tattoo. And I was like, sweet. So that when you ring me, I'll just run next door. So down to the address was the art gallery instead of the tattoo shop. But I was in the tattoo shop.
See, tattoos now would be like sort of cooler and mainstream. Back then they probably weren't.
When I started tattooing, I was like the cool kid.
You were? Yeah.
So what I thought, I thought I was in early. And then like the likes of Miami Ink and all started coming out, and then everybody loved tattooing, and I was like, oh, this is what I'm into. And it just exploded. But I just got in right before the craze of like Miami Ink and all those things. But it was insane because I was 14 years old and I had high school, and I was this kid that was working in a tattoo shop, had tattoos, and everybody was like, you could hear people talking about it. It was this like crazy buzz. But from there, I couldn't give it up. It was like having sugar for the first time. You know, it was like I talk about doing a tattoo on people like the most addictive thing that you will ever do in your life.
Oh, really?
Oh, if you done a tattoo on me right now, you'd want to do it again.
Really?
There is no doubt.
I can't draw for shit.
Most tattooers can't.
No. So were you artistic? Like you always were?
Slightly autistic as well.
Slightly.
We all are a little bit, I think.
I think we all are deep down, yeah.
So I was the kid in school that done all the posters and whatever, but like loads of us were really good at art in school, but wasn't even about the art for me. Like I wanted to be one of those people in tattooing. I didn't care about the art. Like I obviously care about it now, but when I was hanging around tattoo shops with these guys, it was the people. I was like, these are the most interesting people ever. And I remember asking my dad, I was like, Dad, how can I be like that? And he was just like, well, you join the army or be a tattoo artist. And I was just like, done.
That was your choices?
Done.
It
was like travel the world or be a tattoo artist. So I decided to be a tattoo artist and travel the world.
I'll travel the world?
Yeah.
I was about to say, it's probably let you travel the world, because I know you're just back from Vegas a few days.
Yeah. Well, it's made the world very small. Like I fall forward into these situations. I've been traveling since I was very young, and tattooing as I go along. Like I got stopped at TSA, whatever that security thing is in the airport, on Wednesday morning, and I had a tattoo machine in my bag, and I wasn't going to tattoo, but he's like, why have you got this? And I was like, because what if I have a means and I can fit a tattoo machine in my pocket.
Oh really? That small?
Yeah. And I could work anywhere in the world. So it's one of those jobs that's just, it relates to that sort of like gypsy code. If you can do it, why not?
Why not?
Yeah. So it's also kind of like that barbering thing. Like it's a skill that you'll take with you. You know, you don't need much to do it. So
I've had my hair cut at a house party by a barber.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in tattooings.
I'm sure you've seen people get tattooed at a house party.
You know what? I actually haven't.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just around the wrong people.
Anybody watching this, you will 100% have seen someone get tattooed at a house party.
I'm just going to the wrong house parties.
Bro, that's it.
What's the weirdest tattoo you've ever seen or give?
So, back before Cloak and Dagger, I'd worked in several tattoo shops, and there's a couple of weird situations. I remember this foreign chick coming in and she wanted to have a butterfly tattooed on her vagina.
Right.
So like a wing on either side.
Right, so we're going straight in here, okay?
Yeah, and odd situation, like, because we have to spray down the area, and so you can imagine like just how awkward and everything it was. I've tattooed both male and female genitals. I've done face tattoos, I've done head tattoos, I've done, you name it, it's been done.
Done it all, so it's like
Done it all.
Done it all.
Done flying dicks on people, you name it, everything.
I like these. I suppose like at the each of their own, like, but these people have to leave with that on them permanently.
I think there's like a disconnect in like the types of people that come into tattoo shops. So the general public could never imagine what it's like on a day-to-day in a tattoo shop.
Right.
But to us, it's very normal. So there's the guys that come in, like, have thought about this tattoo for a decade.
Yeah.
They've it planned out. They know what they want. It's got to have this meaning, that meaning, da-da-da-da-da. And they're great to work with. It's easy.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang. But then there's also the people that come in and be like, it's humour. And they're like, what could I get that's mad? Like, pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
And there is a bunch of dudes. Look, I have a guy that came in and got smiley face on his ass so that it looked like when he was taking a shit, it looked like a cigar.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing that in my head, and I wish it wasn't, but I can't stop.
But that happens.
Yeah.
And it does, and it is more often than you think.
So you go from one extreme to like real sentimental and meaningful, and then 5 minutes later, someone's coming in looking just the weirdest thing ever.
You got to wear so many hats.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just one of those funny worlds. Like, if you aren't from it, you could never understand it. But when you're in it, nothing shocks you.
I'm guessing it brings you a lot of joy.
Joy. So my feeling on this is like, I think we just want to feel more happy emotions more often than sad emotions, and I think like the end goal is fulfillment. So if we can feel happy more often, we'll feel better about ourselves. And yes, tattooing really helps with that. So on a day-to-day basis, like, you're seeing people like have lost children. You're seeing people that have celebrating a new life event, bought a house, the significant bookmarks they use as tattoos, you know, and that's rewarding, but it's also a complete and utter trauma dump as well. So like,
Yeah.
that has there's loads of joy and loads of fun.
Yeah.
But equally, there's a lot of really heavy stories that we take on board. Like,
Yeah, so everybody coming in with you is making a connection, and like sometimes they're funny, but sometimes they're...
I find that when you touch skin, people open up. So we're hands-on, and the moment they sit in our seat, they're just open book, and you'd be shocked at the things people would admit, and I mean like admit, like, and you're just like, whoa, I wish you didn't tell me that.
Yep. I don't want to stand in court and have to testify.
Yeah, I have one of those. I have a story like that. Crazy story about a guy. This is True Bill, man.
Right.
But True Bill sitting getting tattooed, and he was like, oh, it was for his wife, and he was like, oh, she passed away, and I wasn't allowed to go to her funeral. And I was like, oh, why? And he was just like, oh, they think I killed her. And I was like,
Right.
did you? And he was just like, no, definitely not. I was like, well, what happened? He says, well, she was having a drink with her friend, and I had put paint thinner in a vodka bottle and didn't tell them because I'd been decorating, and they were pouring themselves drinks out of this bottle. I was like, bro, you definitely killed her.
Yeah, you definitely murdered somebody.
Yeah, so...
Even by mistake, you murdered her.
Yeah. So who knows whether it was a mistake or not, but only he knows. So there's like crazy moments like that where you're just like, yeah.
I wish I didn't hear that.
Yeah. So that's one that I always relay to people. And I was only a young tattooer when I remember being like, oof, I don't know who I need to tell about this, but...
No one
just like, what? So yeah, like things like that. Oversharing. I'm going to get a sign in the shop that says don't trauma dump, because like
too much
sometimes. Yeah, because everybody has their own shit going on. Do you know what I mean? You never know what's going on. Like, I could be going in there and having a bad day, and someone's just been like, my cat's dead, and I freaking can't move past it, and then I'm just flipping had enough. And that is what, and then you're like, it could be worse. But what could be worse? My cat's my life, you know. And then
I was like, what I'm going through that I'm not talking about.
and in comparison to some stuff that I've been through, like I don't even bring it into work, you know.
No.
And it's like anything. I'm sure barbers get the same, beauticians, the whole 9 yards. But it is one of those things. Like I don't mind it because I think it's a respectful thing that they do open up, and I love it. But at the same time, I'm like heavily affected by everybody's stories because I'm so empathetic, you know. I take it home.
Yeah, my sister's actually a paramedic, and that's one thing like she would deal with sometimes. Like whenever you clock out, you're still thinking about what you've seen or what you've heard or what's went on that day, and it's not a job role that I've ever had the experience where something like that's happening. But even listening to her deal with it, like it can be hard bringing it home to you because you're just trying to get back to your normal life, and then you're reliving what someone told you that day or what someone else is going through.
I think like decompression, like I think a lot of artistic people in general need some alone time, and at the end of the day, like I find all the tattooers in my shop just sit there and just like in a slump of and they're just decompressing and like working through their thoughts because like you said, it could be joy, it could be partying and listening to music and having fun, and then at 1 o'clock when the next appointment comes in, it could be life changing, you know. And that roller coaster of emotions is exhausting. By the end of the day, like we've been talking, so we've got that taxi driver thing, and then we get to the end of the day and we're just like,
done. What do you do to decompress? Do you have your methods?
My wife will hate me saying this, but 100% Call of Duty. Call of Duty, bro. Like
when you said your wife was going to hate you saying it, I didn't expect that.
No, I mean, it's because she's like, see, I'm like that guy in the background where the wife's like giving off, like because you're playing, you know, and all your mates are like, bro, you should like not put up with that, and I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't, like, you know, and they're backing me up, but she's like calling me like a 15-year-old, and I'll get a real hobby and whatever, but that is actually what I do to like decompress. But like just a bit of silence is fine, like the drive home or whatever.
Yeah. It's a weird mix of like, you know, someone a couple hours earlier you're tattooing like real sentimental stuff on people's bodies and like life like bookmark moments. Yeah. And then 30 minutes later you're getting told off by your wife for playing Call of Duty.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of men that can relate to that because I used to be like, oh god, I couldn't listen to that, like just want to play Call of Duty in peace, and then now I'm that guy.
You're that guy.
Yeah, where it's like, you ever off that thing? I'm like, do you know what I mean? It's like
I need it, it's me time.
I know it's a me thing, and I find that just disconnect. Like, have you seen the film Ready Player One?
Yes.
Bro.
I love it.
Bro, if that was real life,
I'd be in it.
I'd be in it too.
100%.
Oh, bro. And I went, when I was in Vegas there last week, there was a Ready Player One cafe, like arcade thing, like a bar, like, and we showed up, bro, and it was dress as your avatar night, right. And they were all dressed up. It was like cosplay, and there was a guy, mate, full gimp suit, head to toe, ass out.
That's his. he could have been anything,
and he chose that.
Yeah, well, I suppose be yourself.
Like, I don't know if I would pick something like that if I could pick anything. And that show was epic. Loved it.
It's weird though, because like over the past couple of years, I've been trying to be more present, like in the real world, so like real world experiences, real world moments, and like appreciating stuff, especially with like my partner and stuff as well. And I look at that like Ready Player One, and I know if that was real, I'd be living in the made up world.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, to see that presence thing, like when I was talking about empathy and like. I feel like a raw antenna. Like I feel everything, and trying to be present for me is easy. It's actually, I would want to be the complete opposite because I'm so conscious of everything all the time. I come from like, have you ever heard of the term parentified child?
Well, what's the term?
The parentified child.
No.
So I had a rough upbringing, and like it's no surprise. Like my single parent home. Sister severely disabled, and me and my brother, and my mum was going through some shit. So a parentified child is when they're like feeling their mum's emotions, like, and then being reactive to their mum's emotions. So like being a support system too young, and that makes you grow up massively. But you're attuned to the things, the micro transactions that happen in people's behaviors. the slight tone differences, the body language, the words that they use, and I adjust accordingly at all times. So like being an entrepreneur, it's been a superpower but also a curse. So like I'll massively be in tune when I'm present with everything that's going on and read into it heavily. Like, and I wish it's a curse sometimes, but it's also really benefited in so many ways. But like I would say if someone could be inside my head for 5 minutes, they'd unplug it. They'd be like, nah, it's
there's too much going on.
Too much.
It's like you said, it's a superpower whenever it is good.
And a benefit, yeah.
But sometimes you just want to not notice things and just sort of be in your own life. We'll jump back to the sister thing in a minute, but just before we move on from tattooing, you said you started tattooing at 14, and I've been kind of waiting for a moment to ask this, but we kept going off in other conversations there. When you were 14, were you tattooing?
Yeah.
So what did like fully grown men in their 40s think of this like 14-year-old boy? Because like I know whenever I was young I felt so old, but now that I am like 33 in my 30s, I look at a 14-year-old going, God, I was a child. Like at that age I was so young.
I wasn't though.
No,
like I just said, I grew up really fast, and I was surrounded by men, and some negative men influences and strong men influences, and I carried myself how I carry myself today. And there was a great level of trust, and like I was doing big tattoos on these big dudes, and they didn't even question it. Like I was doing portraits on these guys that were scary dudes, like scary guys in the community, and they were trusting me, and I was just like, yeah, fuck it. They were going, have you ever done a portrait before? And I'm like, nope.
No. See, I know you say you carry yourself well, but you're still a 14-year-old boy, like visually. And it's just an image then going like some big, like some 40-year-old biker, big muscly dude, real rugged man, and then little 14-year-old Stefan Getty sitting there with a full back face.
I'll tell you a story. See the guy that got his bum cheek tattooed?
Right.
True Bill, I was tattooing my mum's spare room as a child, and he knocked my mum's door randomly. Had heard of Stefan Getty tattooing at home. Never met him before ever.
Right.
And he knocks on the door, and my mum says, "Oh, Stefan there." He's like, and this is a full-grown ass man. So imagine what my mum thinks. Like,
what's our Stefan done?
What's going on here?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, what's it about? And he told her a tattoo, and so got me, and I walked down, and he was just like, I want a Grim Reaper on my back. Can you do it? And I was just like, so wait, and he's a lot older than me, and I was that was just one instance, but that just snowballed out of control, like. And then it was just like every day, and then twice a day, 3 times a day, and then it was uncontrollable. It was just insane.
So tattooing for you like rocketed pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was really popular online in the MySpace Bebo era, because I was like punk rock, like an emo kid, like loved all that, long hair, skinny jeans, was rock and roll, like loved that type of thing, and really put my whole life out there. My mum was a youth worker, and she went to an internet safety conference one time, and they pulled my social up on the screen at the conference, and they were like, can the mother of the child on the screen please stand up? And they used me as an example of how not to be on the internet.
What?
Yeah.
So you were blowing up then for tattooing and getting like popular.
Yeah.
And they used you as an example and called your mum out.
This is before even tattooing. Like I was like huge on social media, like as a child. Like it was crazy. Like, and so I think that really aided and helped when I became a tattooer, because then all of a sudden it was just like a constant stream of people wanting to get tattooed, which was really, really good.
How would you say tattooing changed your life?
Has it changed my life?
Yeah.
Well, I would...
do you think you'd be the person you are today without it?
So I did a TV show for Channel 4. It was called The Male Body Handbook, right? Where they took all my tattoos off. And the director was like trying to like say that my tattoos were directly... The result of my tattoos was what made me who I am today. Right. My confidence, it was my armor that I almost chose to put on. And I disagreed. I was like, no. I was like, I am just me, regardless if I'm covered in tattoos or not. I feel like my attitude was fueled by watching people struggle.
Right. And
tattooing was the first time where I was like, actually, do you know what? I could actually do all right at this.
Yeah.
And I seen my peers, like, there's things that they wanted to do, and I just didn't see futures in that. And so when I started tattooing, I was like, right, okay, so I can like charge £40 for this tattoo. I can charge start doing the maths, and I was like, okay, I can see like how this could grow. I never knew the heights that we would grow to.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like the first thing that I attached to, like I could potentially see myself doing for a long time and making a really good living at it.
Have you ever worked anywhere else?
I've never had a job.
Never had a job?
No.
Just a bum by your whole life?
Just been chilling, bro.
Chilling.
Yeah.
But that's good. Like even at a young age that you fell into something you love and you never needed to experience anything else. Because a lot of people jump from job to job, never know what they want to do. And I think like I was even probably one of those people that jumped around a lot, working at factories, working on shops, until I kind of found the sort of million of where to stay. Yeah. And even when I found million, the first business didn't work out.
Yeah.
So I had a clothing brand, and it as much as I loved it, it didn't work out. I'm now pivoted into the same lane, making clothes for other people. But I guess it took me till 30 really to get there, where you were lucky that at 14 you found the one thing and just stuck with it.
Yeah, I always say though, like I was weird. Like what 10-year-old goes, I'm going to be a tattoo artist, and then when they're 14 get the opportunity to jump in and stay in, But some of the best people I've ever met in the world, in their 40s and their 50s, still don't know what they want to be.
No.
And they're comfortable, but there's people who are comfortable, right? And I'm quite envious of that. I don't have that. I don't have that comfort, sit still, happy to see it come along. Like I actually have like this burning desire. Like I have to make it.
Yeah.
I don't have this it's alright type of thing, easy come, easy go. I don't have that.
Would you not say you've made it? Would you?
I can't say it.
You can't say it?
Can't say it.
Do you think you'll ever allow yourself to say it?
No.
No. So there's no. So your enjoyment for this game comes from like
the hustle,
like the journey. Like there is no destination where you go, once I'm here I'll relax.
Bro. So like I measure it now. I have 3 kids, and I measure it on what I can do for them, right? And I compare it to what my childhood was like. And if I look at it in that sense, I always used to think like, if I could give them a better life than I ever had, then I'd have made it. But so much bigger than that. Yeah. It's so much bigger than that. So if I said like in my mentality I've made it, I think like I drop a gear. You're not allowed yourself relax. I can't relax, no, because it's not about, it's big picture shit. Like I'm constantly on that spider graph looking at what's next. Where's the avenue? Where can we push this, and how far can we push it? I'm like that 4 o'clock in the morning in someone's kitchen all the time, like thinking big ideas, but actually being proactive in it, and that's every day. Like I wake up like that.
I think everybody has a $1 million idea at 4 a.m. in the morning.
In someone's kitchen,
It's someone's kitchen. But like you said, it's being proactive enough to like wake up on a Monday morning with the hangover,
same energy,
everything with same energy, going, that's still a good idea. Like
I also don't have that like it's not a bad idea function. No. I have this incredible faith in myself that I'll pull it off. Why do men think they could land a plane without knowing?
Yes, I've heard this thing. I think I could.
I think I could too. I 100% think I could do it.
100%. I reckon I could flat.
100%.
Yeah. But I downloaded that Microsoft Flight Simulator one day. There's too many buttons. Just give me the accelerator, give me the stick, and leave me alone.
But isn't that so funny though, that without any experience, without any guidance, there's an emergency, does anybody want to fly this plane? Straight away. Yes, please. 100%. I'm saving the day. Like, there's no doubt. Like,
there'd be a pilot beside you, and you'd be like, "Sit down."
Fuck up. Just say nothing. I'm away.
Yeah, this is my moment.
Fact. So I have that, and I've always had that. I remember shaking hands with the landlord for the first Cloak and Dagger, and he says, waiting on the money. And I was like, I don't have it, but I'll have it.
Yeah.
And he was just like, okay, see you at the end of the month. And I was just like,
that was it.
Blind faith, man. And I'm like that in all things. Like, I back myself. Yeah. Like, I 100% back myself. I feel like I've been through it. I deserve it.
We'll talk about good decisions that you follow through with then. But you're talking about this blind faith backing yourself.
Yeah.
What's the worst decision you've ever made that didn't work out? Like what's that thing where you?
There's loads, bro. So I always say, like, don't look at the success, look at the failures that built the path to get there, you know. So I think that's important. And I think anybody watching this, that if they're failing on their first attempt, just remember the guys that are winning probably tried a million things before it figured it out. So I was that guy, a bit like yourself. I did a clothing brand when I was a teenager, when I was still tattooing, because I went into merch too quickly. I've had coffee shops, I've had lots of different things, online businesses, I've done stocks and shares, I've done lots of things. I've hemorrhaged probably hundreds of thousands of pounds and stuff, and like most recently I had a coffee shop, and I £130,000 worth of investment for my wife. It wasn't even for me, and thought, this is a sure thing, this is great, let's give her something to do. And when the bills started rolling in, and the actual Ukraine war happened, and then the energy bills went through the roof, and we had an entirely electric kitchen, no gas or anything, and we were getting hit with crazy bills. And we were in Disneyland with the kids, and I never forget it. And I was sitting across from her in the pool, and she goes, "You check your email?" And I was like, "Why, what is it?" It says our electric bill's through, and I looked at the number, and I was just like, "When I go home, I'm shutting it." And she was like, "What?" And I was just like, "Yeah, plan B. I always have a plan B. Get out of jail free." Like, so if it didn't work out, I had a exit strategy. So what I did was I moved my barber shop into it to cover the rent and rates, all the bills, and just called it a day, sold everything, just like that. And the best advice I ever got was, when you make a decision, make it fast and be sure. Don't hesitate. If you hesitate, it'll not work. So I have a friend that had like 3,000 staff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and had the flipping cut. It was maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe it was like 300 or whatever, maybe more, and was starting to slow down, wind down his business, and he had to like get rid of like 90% of them in one day. And he says he had to just make that decision and do it, meet with them and tell them, and just take the thing. And I had staff in that coffee shop and stuff like that, and it was just it became an anchor that I wasn't willing to hold on to straight away, and I didn't even give it a minute. It was just like, no. That. And my wife was like, "You're crazy," and I was just like, "I'll recoup the money. It's not about the money. It's about being free and flowing to do business instead of having something that's holding us back. I don't want to have to struggle with something that I'm not sure of, and I don't want anybody else to do it either. So it's gone, just like that. It didn't even matter the investment. It was just like, it's only money."
It's a very good bit of advice there about being an anchor, because I think I could even hold my hands up to admitting to like doing that. Like, you want something to work so bad, especially the first clothing brand we did, and we just kept believing it was going to work. If we keep working, it's going to work. So, we're going to have that change day where where cash flow becomes positive and it just stays positive. And we probably held on to it for far too long, but I think a lot of people will be the same. I think it's also an ego thing too. A lot of people probably don't want. If you making the decision to close that shop down, 90% of people would think that makes me look like a failure. Yeah. Where in your head you were like, smart business decision, let's make it.
But that's the behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Like, not people like, not everybody's like us. You got to remember that. So like, you got to think of like being the perspective of the consumer is, they're probably thinking, oh, it mustn't have been doing well. It was doing well. It was doing really well. But I wasn't willing. When I looked at the figures and I was thinking like, when's this going to end? You know, and it still going on. Ukraine issue still going on. The cost of living still going on. It's a crisis we're in. I was like, no, and I just done it there and then, and I stand by the decision. It's one of the best business decisions that I've ever made.
And it was made by the pool in Disneyland over an email.
It was made by in between my middle child Margot running and flying down a slide without armbands on, and me having to jump over a wee wall to catch her whilst trying to make this decision, and it was insane. It was just like done. So, and never give it a second thought after that.
I think some of the best decisions in life are the ones you don't think you just do.
Yeah, but that it is like we get to a point where we're in flow state, and in business, you probably don't know when you arrive there, but the effects of being in that flow state start to show, because you don't worry as much, you don't like give so much thought. I remember at the start, every decision I made I give so much thought to, and then it got to a point where I was like, we're okay, this is fine. Like, I've been through every hard day I've ever thought and survived it, so why would I let this maybe change that or change the direction of this business when I've met 20 people like this before and it didn't change it. So why would this one person that's rocking the boat make it any different?
Make a difference. What would you say your hardest ever day was? Do you remember it? Actually,
Yeah, I actually do. Yeah, I have a really horrible one. Yeah.
What was your hardest day in business?
Hardest day in business, it was, bro, I do tattoos for the Macmillan Cancer Unit.
Oh, really?
Oh, bro, I have two in particular. One most recently, and then another lady a couple of years ago, and like fully like breakdown, emotional, hide in the bathroom moment. Like I got contacted by the cancer unit, and they were like, there was a girl that really wanted to get a tattoo of her son before she passed, and no, without a question, like I always give. It's my preset to be generous. Like I just think like it's not what you have, it's what you do with what you have. So I immediately was like, yes, let's do it. I'd love to do it. I'd love to be part of her story. And she came in very unwell, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I didn't consider this. But it took a while for her to be able to come and get tattooed, and she wanted to support it on her chest. And even talking about it's hard to talk about because it was one of the most emotional things I've ever been through, one of the hardest things ever. And so when you're doing a portrait, you work like across the shoulders, do the collar, up the neck, start up there. And we were coming over the bridge of the nose, and she sees his eyes, and she looks down to it, and she goes, wait for it. She just literally goes, now I can see him when I die. And I literally just was like, the whole room just flattened. Like, I mean, it's one of the most emotional things that's ever happened in Cloak and Dagger to this day.
That's heavy, like.
It was really, really heavy, and I remember, like, thinking about her, like, I just feel like I was giving her so much of me, but she gave me all of her there in that moment, and it was this crazy, like, realization that life is so fragile, and I had to get up, gloves off. I was like, I need to go have a minute. Didn't tell her that, like, and I went into the bathroom and rang my mum, and my mum was like, wise up. Like, get in there and give her your best. Like, it's not about you right now. And I was just like, no, it's not, but it's hard. It's not. It's really difficult. And just get up and jumped in and got back to it. And they tried to pay me. I was like, no, not happening. I'm like, you've no idea how much I've gained from this. And she went off on her merry way. And I was just like, can you keep me in the loop? Yeah. And she died a couple of weeks later. And, you know, that sticks with me in so many ways. And that fall forward, say yes mentality, I would never have done that otherwise. And then most recently, a girl, Laura Talentire, like had a real. She wanted to get tattooed by me, right? Right. And so they contacted me and told me her story and whatever, and I'll do whatever. See anybody that needs that, I'm the guy. I'm happy to do it. But they contacted me about this girl and they says, oh, she really wants to get tattooed by you. How can we make it work? And I was like, well, this is how it works. Let's set a date. And I'd never met her before. Right. And the nurses were telling me about how excited she was and whatever. And she'd come in with her driver in, you know, and like end of life medicine, you know, really in bad shape. But really positive, this mad glow about her, like, and the nurses were all really just doing their job, really, and they do an amazing job and making her comfortable, whatever. She came in, she's getting a Pokemon tattoo, man, and I love Pokemon. And so she was getting tattoos to match with her, all wee Pokemon tattoos with her family. Yeah. Her mum had got one. Her mum's a lovely human being, had the pleasure of meeting her. And she got the tattoo, and she hit me with a line too as well that I'll never forget. I'm in the world of tattooing, like I'm trying to do my best, and she goes, I'll never forget it. She goes, oh, tattoos, last a lifetime. And I goes, yeah, and she goes, not this one. And I was just like, fuck. Whoa, like, what's going on? And she was so strong, and like just. That didn't make her flinch, you know. That really I feel that in my chest today. Yeah. That one sentence, I'm sure you felt it. Like I feel like I'm in the room again with her. I just finished the tattoo or whatever, gave her a hug, and man, I was so invested in this human being. Like I was visiting her, bringing her coffee, donuts. I just wanted to be there, you know, because I felt like we had this moment where like it was so vulnerable, and that to me like has been the hardest moments in my career, but the biggest payoff ever. Like it didn't make a penny, but what I learned as a human, what I benefited as a human, was beyond belief. Like incredible. Like the big, like huge leap in personal development on both of those.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Branded Merch. Do your t-shirts look like they came free with the meal deal? Are you sick of merch and uniforms that look cheap, logos that peel, and tees that shrink after one wash? So are we. At Branded, we make merch that your team will actually want to wear. Whether it's uniforms, event gear, your own brand drops, or community merch, we've got you covered. We use premium blanks, proper printed embroidery, and we're upfront and honest about what works, what doesn't, and most importantly, what looks and feels great. No minimums, quick turnaround, and yeah, we actually care about the end product. If you're listening to this and thinking my team could do with some better threads, visit brandedlimited.co and let's make it happen. That's brandedltd.co. And as a listener to this podcast, first time customers can get 10% off with code roundtable10 at checkout. It sounds like it's like whenever I'll be honest, whenever I had the questions lined up about tattoos and stuff, like I didn't think those stories were going to be on your... I didn't think those stories existed.
Yeah.
That's not something I would have thought about with tattoos. I always think of the more serious and like meaningful stuff, and even like stupid and funny, but I never thought of stuff like that sort of deep and heavy.
Yeah. I think like the thought of end of life, like making someone's wishes come true, like I probably didn't know until one day I went in and the Macmillan unit rang me, and
it happened.
And at the start I was even, can I even do that?
Am I allowed to thank somebody?
Yeah. And then but no, yeah, the tattooing it's a vessel, like, and it's been definitely being exercised about the place. Like we've done a lot.
You've had your own health issues.
Yeah. And I think like it gives me the perspective, like I was unwell. I used to say to people all the time, I used to like be real cocky about this. People would be like, would anything slow you down? Like I've been doing well from a young age, and people have witnessed that, and people have said, I used to say nothing will stop me. Like maybe if I get sick, I'll slow down.
Yeah,
bro. Let's talk about talking something into existence. I was tattooing for about 3 months, and it was about the 3-month period I started feeling funny, and I was getting up from tattooing and feeling all dizzy. I was like, oh, I'm all over the place, what's going on here? And I was walking into door frames and my speech and all was going funny, and I was like, there's something wrong with me, like, and I just knew I could feel it, like, kept putting it to the back of my head, just trying to ignore the thought, because it would always level out and I'd be alright.
Yeah.
And I remember like doing these stupid things, like tapping my fingers, counting my fingers, because I felt like my motor skills was going funny, and I was genuinely walking into the walls and I was counting, doing A, B, C, D, A, like doing the alphabet and counting to 10 and all, because I was freaking out. And I was playing football at the time and still worried, but not still. I was always coming back to normal. The next morning I wake up, I feel normal, I go about my day. Playing football, jumped up won a header, landed on both heels, prolapsed the disc. Freak accident, like. Mad pain, never felt pain like it. Went to physio, was going through physio. I'd lost sensation in the soles of my feet, and mad, like flipping crazy. So I said, you know what, we'll just do a scan. Sends me for a scan, go get the scan, bring the scan back, and puts the scan up on the thing, takes it down straight away.
Oh, he didn't want to show you?
He didn't want me to see it.
Right.
He obviously seen it. Went up, straight back down. I was like, oh, what's that about? Didn't ask any questions. He disappears, writes me a letter, and he says, you gotta go to the hospital. I was like, what?
Sorry, what?
He says, no, you need to go to the hospital. Like, nah. I was just like, what's wrong? And he's just like, can't talk. I'm not in a position to talk to you about it. Go to the hospital. So
he didn't tell you anything?
No.
Just scared you and go get to the hospital?
Oh, it got scary. The day did not get good.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. So, this is 2017. This is not that crazy long ago. Get the letter. I'm like, right, what do I do? Like, and he was like, he'd give me some advice. He's like, you need to see a neurologist.
Yeah.
So I knew that much. how do I say neurologist? Straight onto Google. Looking up Ulster Independent comes up. Neurology appointment. Sweet.
Yeah.
Go with the letter. Woman gets the letter. Does the same thing. It goes.
Okay.
Runs. Gets another guy. Gets this neurologist. Runs down. Literally, you've ever been in Ulster Independent, so it's like stepping back in time. Runs down. Gets this guy, and he ushers me down to see me. And asked me a bunch of questions, and he's just like, I think I know what this is. He says, could you do some scans today? And I was like, yep. He says, right, we're going to do some scans, and then I'll see you after. Sound good? And I was like, sweet. So do all the scans. I'm there all day. My brother left me up, and there all day, get the scans, and I sit down with him, and he goes, right, here's the story. I'm going to see you on Friday at the Royal, 1 o'clock. He says, I'm going to diagnose you then. Immediately, I'm like, diagnose me? What?
With what?
I know. And he goes, this could be anything from a brain tumour till something like... He literally was like, it could be anything from a brain tumour to something like ME or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like... And then he goes, but don't Google anything. I was like, all right.
Yeah, easier said than done.
Easier said than done, yeah. So I remember going to my granny's house after, and my mum was cutting my granddad's hair at the time. And I said to her, and she was like, don't be so effing stupid. You know, it's nothing like that there. I was like, oh, I didn't say anything. I says, this is what they said it could be.
Yeah.
And they had found what I know now is a malnation on my spinal cord, but then they went further on to find them in my brain. So on the Friday I wake up, and I remember saying to my wife, I was like, I'm not like getting fancy dressed up here to go get told bad news. I'm going to put on gym gear. And this was my mindset. I was like, gym gear make me feel like I can run, and if I can run I can do anything.
Yeah.
That was this mad I woke up and I was just like, whatever they tell me, doesn't matter. We're running, it's fine. And I never forget it. Nike sip up, like the whole 9 yards. And so we arrive, and it was like a funeral home, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Walk in, and that's the first thing I see is like a teenage girl coming towards me in like a full stand-up frame, paralysed. And I was just like, oh, bro.
Where am I?
What's going on? And the one person after another, tears, everything. We're sitting really at the back of this waiting room. And I could tell Sarah's nervous and I'm nervous, and get called anyway, and I see there's a nurse there, and I immediately think, it might have been, might not have been, but I think like she's there for my mental health, because in case this is bad news.
Yeah.
So I had already thought, do you know what? This is bad news. This is going to be terrible, you know? And I have faith. So like I believe in Jesus. I believe in all of that. I have faith, and I had sort of like turned my back on that as a child. And I didn't feel alone this day. Like I felt like 3 bums hit the seat when we went in. I thought Sarah, me, and some other feeling. Like it was weird. And he goes, best case scenario. Told me I had MS. I had remittent and relapsing MS. He says, and Sarah started crying, and I had no idea what MS was. I laughed. I burst out laughing, and he goes, why are you laughing? I says, 2 things.
Don't know.
No, I knew, and do you know what? There was something telling me that this was the 2 questions and the 2 things to say. He says, can I work for the rest of my life? And he says, oh yeah. He says, we manage this, you'll be able to work the rest of your life. I says, okay, no problem. And he goes, why are you taking this so well? Like, what's the crack? And I says, my wee sister has nothing. And she claps her hands every day, and she smiles. I says, if I react to this, what does that say about me? I says, like, I'm up for the fight. I could run.
Yeah, because you grew up with a disabled sister, so like you weighed it up against.
Yeah, I just immediately like
puts it in perspective.
Yeah, perspective, and I was just like, what do we do? And he was the same. He was just like, he was shocked. He was just like, okay, this is what we do.
Yeah.
And he was like, we do this treatment. It's gonna be this amount of money, and da da da. And I'm like, whew, that's a lot of money. I was like, yeah, I could probably hook that. And he was just like, we're going to put in for funding for you. He says, don't worry about it. And I was like, oh, flip, that's intense. So how long I want to wait on this? This is on the NHS. And he goes, we'll get your mum in, we'll chat through it, whatever. I wasn't actually married at the time, so my next of kin was my mum. It was me and Sarah were just engaged, and my mum comes in, just explaining it to me what it was. It was a thing called Limtrata. It was very experimental type thing. It was a very what was described to me as like a chemotherapy.
Yeah.
Which to me just sounded so scary, man. I was just like, oh, what?
Yeah, you hear anything in that range that just terrifies you.
Terrified me, man. And my mum was pleading with me, to do it, you know. And I was like, see, I just started having bits of doubt, a wee bit of doubt about it, feeling like, oh, no, I'm not that into it really, the thought of it. I was reading the pamphlet going, flip me, I'm going to spend more time recovering from this than I am ever being sick. But my mum was like, please do it for me at least. And I was just like, no problem, that's all you need to say. To send the dotted line, let's see if we can get funding. This is Friday, the 9th of January. The Monday, I got a phone call being like, that's paid. When can you start? Like
that was quick.
Yeah. Start the following week. 2-week period. I was literally sitting in my treatment. This is how crazy it was. I arrived for my treatment, able-bodied. You wouldn't have knew anything was wrong. And all the people in there were in last chance saloon. Like, they were not in a good way. They've been fighting these illnesses for a long, long time, And I walked in with my iPad under my arm, dressed nice, thought I was a staff member. I was like, why are you here?
You just didn't fit the bill.
Just didn't fit the bill. And I sat down in one of the chemo chairs, the blue chair with the thing up the side. And they were like, what are you doing here? And this old lady, I never forget her, Estelle, she was class. She was just like, there's no way you're here. Like, and I'm young at this time, I was 17, so I'm much younger. And it was just a mad moment, of this is crazy. Like, you guys have been in here and waiting on this for probably years, and I've been in this process for 2 weeks, and I'm here, and I hadn't somewhat bit of guilt. Why me? Why have I been given this lifeline?
Yeah.
Neurologist comes in a couple of hours later. He's like, "Oh, I'll just give you, need to give you worst case scenarios." Talks about people passing away on the treatment, whatever. And that was it. Plugged in, week of that treatment every day for a week, and all the trials and tribulations of being on any treatment like that. Like, lost loads of weight. Like my mum literally was probably fit to carry me out on the Friday, And I was unwell. I went in like 14 stone, came out 9 stone. It was crazy.
Is that in the first week?
Yeah.
Like, you lost that much, like,
just
the weight just fell off?
Yeah, fell off me then. It was so hard on my body. Like, I feel like I was nosediving anyway because I documented it.
Yeah.
I started talking about it online, and people started messaging me flat out from all over the world, being like, "Can you do this? Do this? Do this? This will make you better." All these things happened. Like, a guy called Richard Beatty contacted me and was like, "These are the things that you have to do to get better." And he ended up being one of my best friends and greatest, dearest friends, and will be for the rest of my life. And he told me about juicing and diet and all these different things, and I was getting better without the treatment. And then, so this treatment was a week, 1 year, and then a year exactly did the date, another week, with an option of a third. And it was just a good group of people, and they got us the next year in the same group and everything. It was amazing. But it came up on my came up the other day on my time hub on my phone, the letter when they told me I had no sign of the illness in my body.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was mad. So literally, like, there's a 5-year recovery plan, and I finished it, and it was just like there was nothing ever wrong. Like, and not that, there was never anything ever really wrong. I never had really any symptoms, but the scans indicated that I was in my trajectory was that I was going to be in a bad way.
So that fall in football, like, you said about a month or so of feeling like unwell, where something wasn't right, like dizzy spells, stuff like that. So was that fall you had in football meant to be lucky?
I actually found that guy. That guy actually asked me. That guy I jumped up for a header, and he checked me a wee bit and put me off balance, and it landed sort of funny. And I actually said to him, I goes, "Mate, thank you so much." And he goes, "What do you mean?" And I says, "They found something in my brain from the scan of getting my back done." And he was just like, it looked like he'd seen a ghost. And I was like, don't seriously, like, thank you, like, flipping hell, like, I don't know where or what would have happened if that hadn't have like
Like
happened.
when you say life happens for you, like you got to go. Like you look at the old people that was down there for treatment, and you told the story of them thinking you were a doctor.
Yeah.
So like, if that wouldn't have happened,
Yeah.
would that have been a look into your future? That
And
like undiagnosed and untreated.
yeah, and I feel like when I talk about faith, and like I'm like the most unconventional person who thinks about faith, and I have loads of Christian friends, and I would class myself as a Christian as well. But they were like, there was loads of signs, Stefan. He says, but he had to do something drastic to get you to look at yourself. Like, and there was this man that I went to Tokyo, Japan, when I was unwell during my treatment, and this guy said to me, he was like, you're in the pursuit of God, you're in the wrong place, and like all these mad things that were happening, and it was just so crazy that, like, even though getting paid so quick, like, and then I get all these unmarked posts still to this day to the shop. And they're like Christian pamphlets and stuff from some person who sends me gifts all the time. And like I'm just thinking, like, who paid for this? Like, and like it's not unheard of when people ring up and donate money for people who need it. And it's been like, it melts my head to this day. Like, this post comes and books and recommendations for books and gifts from this unknown person, all from that one treatment. Yeah, it's been insane. Been totally insane, and still, touch wood, all good.
All good. That brought you on a bit of a like mindset philosophy journey, didn't it?
Yeah.
And you had a spiritual awakening after that moment?
I had a spiritual awakening, I think. Bro, do you know what? The whole spiritual thing is like I was in denial, you know?
Yeah.
I used to think, how could Amber be Amber? How could there be a God when my sister is the way she was? You know?
Yeah.
And I used to think like, there's no way that if there's a God that they would let children be like that. I remember Stephen Fry, when he was asked about his faith, he said,
I've heard this.
Cancer or bone cancer in kids. Explain that one. And I was the same, and wholeheartedly believe that life. We've done this. This is that we've created the world that we live in, the food that we eat, and all the sicknesses. That's by design by us, and that's got nothing to do with a greater power. But I truly believe that there was a hand on my situation, like 110%, and I felt it, and in times since felt it. Like, it was crazy, and like it's hard to explain to people who have no faith. And that, I think that's the beauty of faith. It's something that you have to feel. It's like that, how do you know if there's a pound in your hand?
You feel it.
You feel it, you know? And I'm never going to preach to anybody, ever. But I'll never deny it.
I wouldn't say I have faith, but I do believe in, like, good things happen to good people, and treat others as you want to be treated yourself. And I do think, like, bad karma as well. Like, if I'm going to go through life being an asshole and fucking people over, I only get away with it for so long before something comes back around. So I'm not religiously faithful, but I kind of have my own beliefs in being good and generous and kind. And
I don't believe in religion.
No,
I believe in relationship.
Yeah,
I think that's a powerful thing for people to know. Like,
who's the relationship with?
Yeah, it's just Jesus, man.
Jesus.
Like, like, I believe a man died on a cross for us. Like, I do truly believe that, and I don't feel like I have to go to church every week.
Yeah.
Don't feel like I have to convert you, as much as that would be great, but that's not what I feel at all. Yeah. And I don't feel compelled to do that. I feel like my experience has been a very personal experience for me, and I feel like it's a relation thing. And I think religion itself causes so much problems. Like, and I've witnessed that my whole life. And they'd be like, "Oh, I'm this or I'm that." That's just another bullshit story that you tell yourself. And I'm not gonna ever be that guy that recites Bible verses and talks shit. No, that's not me.
You're a very positive person.
Yeah, 100%.
Does it annoy your wife?
Do you know what?
I'm speaking from personal experience here because
So Sarah's an amazing human being, and she obviously has to put up with my like mirandering, like, and in life, physically mirandering, mentally mirandering, just like all of those things, and like I deconstruct ideas and thoughts, and she's a one-person audience.
Yeah.
And 3 kids too. They listen to me as well.
That
But
is big.
she strapped in at the very beginning and never took her seatbelt off. You know, and that's amazing. Like, how could you? Like that's been great. Don't get me wrong. Like any relationship is difficult, but she is in it for whatever I say. Like she's just like, yep, I believed in you this far. It hasn't took us the wrong direction yet. Yeah. Oh, well, you never know.
Yeah.
So-
A big cliff's coming.
Yes, yeah, and we'll cliff dive. Yeah,
But just strapped in.
yeah, she's strapped in. Yeah,
Yeah, sweet.
So she'd probably, I can tell sometimes where she's just like, whoa, hold the phone, like when in Vegas. So we stumbled upon this great opportunity to open a franchise in Vegas, and there was a business in place, 50% of the way done, and there was a fallout that happened, and I could fill the space. Like Cloak and Dagger could be the replacement for this other brand, and there was lots of conversations had, and the paperwork's not signed, but like pretty much like I was just like, yep, I'm all in. And then there was obviously some personal stuff that happened in Vegas that didn't get us to get it across the line.
Yeah.
But like when I rang Sarah, I was like, here's the plan, and she was just like, oh,
She's like,
what? She was like, no.
It's like, not again.
And like I'd always talked about like where would be number 2 or what would be the next franchise or whatever, what would be next, and it wasn't in Vegas, and it just like presented itself, and I was like, yeah, 100%, no doubts, all in.
But I suppose when opportunity comes knocking, you've done the years of work to be able to take advantage of the opportunities.
I remember saying, it's out of a film, I can't remember, it's like, there's Al Pacino, and he says life's a game of inches, 1 too far and you miss, 1 too slow and you miss it entirely, you know.
Yeah.
And then I think that's what he says, something like that. My recall of that's not that great. I haven't used that term in a long time, but I do treat life like a game of inches, and always being ready, like, and accepting to what could be. Like, I'm never shut off the opportunities. Like, if someone said to me today, like, what do you think of this? Would you invest in this? I'm like, I'd like to hear it. Like, give me your ideas. I remember being at a conference and they said, introduce yourself. And I says, oh, I'm Stefan Getty. It was a business thing. And I goes, and if you have any business ideas that you don't want to do, you could tell me and I'd do it. And they were all laughing. And they were like, why is that? And I was like, because everybody wants to make money.
Yeah.
I'm no different.
Yeah, funny, I would say like I'm very curious, right? Like I love hearing other business owners talking about their business, the ins and outs. Even like say it's some scientific weird thing that I don't know anything about. I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
To learn about it. And some people might turn around and say, "You're just a nosy bastard."
Yeah.
But I'm actually just curious.
How
And like I might never think about it again, or I might never relate to it again. But I just love hearing everything. Even if I walk away, I'd never think about it again. You know,
yeah.
I have a curious mindset, and I think as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
You have to be openly curious, because
100%.
when you need to make a decision, you don't know what moment or what experience you're going to have to call from.
Yeah, and it's like knowing when to pull the trigger, but also like retreat. I think curiosity is probably, it's a great gift in most entrepreneurs. There's great entrepreneurs that aren't curious and they stick in their lane and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
But there's guys that they probably procrastinate because of their lack of curiosity, and they are not successful in maybe ideas that they could be successful in because they're not curious enough.
Not curious enough. Even the ones that probably stay in their own lane,
Yeah.
they're maybe curious. They're probably hyper curious within that subject.
Yeah.
And that's why they become so good at the one thing.
Yeah, and they're not just like curious on a broad spectrum.
Yeah.
I always tell people, like, at the beginning, make sure the target's really, really big. You hit it, and it's easy to hit. But as you narrow your focus and the target becomes really, really small, things become difficult, to grow.
Yeah.
And about keeping that target big. And how do you do that? By being curious and exploring options.
You have apprentices that work for you?
Yeah.
So are you a teacher in the form of here's how you tattoo? Are you a teacher in the form of I want to be a mentor?
I love being a mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that I've handed it over. Like, there's guys in tattooing that I don't get on with anymore that I've taught how to tattoo, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I give them a gift.
Yeah.
And I find that a very special transaction. I currently have one that's fantastic, an absolute unicorn, Cody, and she's went from zero to tattooing full time in a year, making a great wage, building relationships, building clientele, doing the whole thing, and it's just a fantastic industry to be in. But like being able to pass it on, like I get to teach my kids this one day.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait. You know.
What age are your kids?
I have a 7, a 4, and a 2-year-old.
Is any of them talking about tattooing yet?
Esme wants to be a vet.
A vet.
On like a Monday, and an astronaut by Friday. You know.
Right.
So, and like I don't think women would be great astronauts. Like.
No.
I'm joking. That was actually seeing a comedian on Saturday night called Ben Bankus. I think he's from Canada, and his whole sketch is about like women and jobs.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with this. I don't agree with anything he says, but
That's a good save.
it makes for really good humor. It was hilarious though.
What does success look like to you?
Freedom. I think that's probably what most people are going to say, but I'll elaborate on freedom. Like, I get to choose to do this.
Yeah.
I get to pick, and that's what it feels like. It's like, if I don't want to work, I don't have to work. I'm still getting paid, either or, you know. So, that I remember seeing my mum give us everything. My mum's my hero, man. She changed nappies from the day my brother was born till today. My sister is still getting a nappy. She's never had a day off from being a parent, and she's just so strong, man. And she used to work through the night, right, sewing to pay for things. Like, and I used to fall asleep to the noise of her sewing machine downstairs in a 2 up, 2 down council house. And like that just to me is like, that is an amazing struggle and like a noble journey that she done for her children, and I really appreciate that. And like, it'll take a hard and a very amazing thing that ever top that sacrifice that she done for us. But I didn't want that. I didn't want to struggle. Like, and that taught me like not to be like that. Put yourself in a position where that's not the option, you know. And so I feel we've achieved that and more, you know.
More. No, I had a disabled brother, and growing up watching that, it gives me a lot of like sympathy for people, and I can like you talking about your mum there, I can actually relate to watching like how hard that is to raise a disabled child. And like we weren't well off either, so watching my dad work 2 jobs and you know all this here to give us the life that they give us. So like yeah, I can fully relate to that, and even your mum to this day like still doing it. Isn't like that's a lifelong commitment.
Yeah, and she's only 2 years younger than me, like, you know.
It's crazy.
So she's in her 30s, and my mum's like, about here, never complains, doesn't want any help. Like, she's just like, someone asked me, who's your superhero one time, and I says my mum, and the woman just was gobsmacked. And then she was like, what? And it was like an interview style thing. And I goes, you look like you're shocked. She goes, I didn't expect a young man to say that. And I was just like, well, let me tell you why. And I see it every opportunity that I can do so, I will do.
You will do.
She's class.
Oh, I actually probably expected the young man to say like Ronaldo.
Yeah, 100%.
You've touched on it before. What do you do for fun though?
Call of Duty.
just that's your de-
Bro,
that's your
grinding those camos like.
So that's your de-stress for a hard day. That's camo grinding though. I'm not into that. I cannot be bothered.
No, do you know what? This is the first Call of Duty I've ever done it. And it's really fun. Like it's
fun.
It's a good group of people that we're playing with. But other like fun, I like playing with the kids, man. I love my daughter's mindset. I like watching her and how they actually reflect a young Stefan, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm through my son. Like, I think there's a time, and I've talked about this before and other times, where there's a point in your life where you said goodbye to your inner child. You know, like there's moments where, and I never forget the moment I give up on my inner child, and it was young. You know, it was a very young moment, and I feel like the later my children can do that, the better, and that'll be a real testament of how good of a parent I am. I want to keep them young and foolish and carefree and not like what it was for me, you know. And I watched my daughter. I walked on eggshells as a child, and I really did. And I watched my daughter like be funky and free and just like with air in her lungs and not care.
Yeah.
Dance apologetically. Learn to dance in the rain. Not give a hoot what anybody thinks, and it's great.
Are you reliving your childhood through your kids' eyes?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like
100%.
they've give you that gift again.
Look, yeah, it's went full circle. Like, I've healed through it, like, massively. Like, I hold my son, and my son hugs me, and I think, like, why did I not get those hugs? You know, I got them from my mum, but I didn't get it from my dad. And there's a self-worth question there, and I've learned through being a dad that it's not Jasper, my son, doesn't get to pick whether I hug him or not. I pick. I choose.
How you choose?
I choose, and that's my choice. So, and I choose to do it every day. And like, I've speak to other dads, and they're like, in my position, you know, same childhood, same upbringing, they say the same. They're like, I'm gonna hug him and kiss him every day, because that's the difference in us, you know.
I think times have definitely changed. Like even like going to my own parents, and then like hearing my parents talk about their parents. You know, it was a very sort of cold standoff upbringing. And you just see now, I don't know what social media or what it is now, but everyone seems to be sharing a lot more love with their kids now.
Yeah.
I think back then it wasn't. I don't even know what it was. I think even back then, probably times are probably tougher, and parents' full attention was going on to providing the roof and the house and the security. Where I think now maybe it is a bit easier to get that stuff. So not easier, because it is hard, but it's more readily available.
Yeah, I think so. The generation before our parents' generation, like, Lord knows what was going on in their life, but they didn't do a good job. They didn't. And then our parents, they tried to do the best of what they knew.
Yeah.
And then it's our generation, and then we're like, fuck that. Like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And so if we can find a medium happy ground where we can be so present with our kids and do and make money, and how do we do that? We're in a world now that we can make money doing anything. Yeah. So like, people are really, really smart and use their initiative and free themselves up to be better parents. I think our parents just didn't have that opportunity.
Talking about freeing up, did you give all your stuff away?
How did you know that?
Oh, I done research.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, so I got into minimalism in like a really crazy way. I do these things. There was an end goal to this. I had made a lot of money, had a lot of money in the bank, had Rolexes, had everything that I ever dreamt of, and woke up one morning and didn't feel like I wanted to do anything, and I didn't feel like hungry. I was just like, ugh. And I didn't know what was wrong with me, because it wasn't a thing. And I had just came across the Minimalists, read their book, and heard about packing parties and stuff like this here. And in normal Stefan tradition, I went full steam ahead. Woke up
110%.
110%, 100 mile an hour. Walked into the living room in my apartment where I was living at the time, and was like, none of this serves me. I was like, put on my Facebook, I goes, come and get it. Everything must go. I'm getting rid of everything. And people were commenting, being like, what? And I was like, no, try me. Try me.
So you advertised your house as it's set?
Yeah.
And be like, just come and take what you want?
Just take what you want.
And this is Rolexes, TVs...
Watches, TVs, sofas, cooking appliances, my clothes, everything.
And what was the house like after it left?
Beautiful.
Beautiful?
Yeah.
Was it empty?
It was completely empty, yeah.
Did you, I suppose you had to keep some things?
Well, I wanted like the essentials.
The essentials?
So the essentials. I wanted to have 100 essential items. And...
Socks,
boxers, like there was things that like I worked really, really hard for and had loads of sentimental value, of like being in New York or doing different things. And when they walked in, I was freed of the memories. when people come in and took them, I was just like, oh, I never have to think about that again. That's fine. It's gone. And this like chest weight just left straight away. And I remember sitting thinking on the ground, because I only could sit on the ground.
No chairs.
I remember sitting thinking, now I'm at the bottom of the ladder again. Imagine at the start, I had Cloak and Dagger at the bottom of the ladder. It's not so bad, is it, when you have a business pumping out money and having nothing? Start again. To start all over again, but do it differently. That's what it felt like. I was just like, right, this is reset. Let's go. I haven't bought a watch since.
Have you?
No.
No.
Not a dear one. No, I never will.
So you'd worked to achieve all this like materialistic things?
Yeah, it was all materialistic.
And then you just felt free after it was gone?
Yeah, see the feeling that I had. Like, oh, lay on the floor laughing. Like, this is hilarious. Like, you know, even my blinds were gone.
Did you not get like a taxi 2 weeks later? What? The blinds?
Yeah. Do you know...
Did you not set any boundaries?
No.
No?
No. I didn't accept any money either. People were like, I'll give you money. I was like, no.
I know what your blinds like.
I'll get the blinds, whatever. It's just even like the forks and stuff out of the cupboards, you know, it was just... People were making jokes and all, because it went viral, like, online, and people were like, what about your bank card? I was like, come on now.
Ah,
Do you know what I mean?
okay, there is a line.
Yeah, because no right person in their right mind's doing that, you know. And but no, it was good. I learned a lot from it. It was extreme. But
Were you like sitting in a taxi at the pub 2 weeks later and seeing like taxi man with your Rolex on or something?
no, the taxi man actually took a pair of my shoes though, and yeah, I've seen them quite a few times. Yeah, there were these. What were they? Or designer shoes of some sort, I can't remember. They're like we like slip on purple plimsoll type thing. Yeah.
Did this come after or before the DMT enlightenment? This podcast is brought to you by Blue Nutrition, where science meets performance. Whether you're pushing through intense workouts or just trying to stay sharp day to day, Blue Nutrition has your back. Their powerhouse product, which I take every day because it actually helps me feel great, is their essential green superfood, which blends 34 potent ingredients to help support immunity, energy, digestion, and it actually tastes great. With a wide range of products, Blue Nutrition is trusted by athletes and everyday grinders alike. Blue Nutrition delivers quality you can feel. So if you're serious about your health, head to bluenutrition.co.uk, and they can also be found on nisupplements.com. And if you're listening to this podcast, you can get 10% off with discount code ROUNDTABLE10. Blue Nutrition, fuel your potential.
This was before DMT. DMT's sickness period.
Sickness period.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Amazing.
Have you ever done it again, or was it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've took a load of people to do it as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've heard about it in Joe Rogan quite a lot, and he says like everyone has to do it once.
Yeah. I think it should be a law. I totally agree.
Really?
Totally agree.
I would love to try it.
But
I'm afraid of what I would see.
That's why you do it.
Really?
Yeah. Do you want this calmness that I have? You can't have it unless you go on a journey. What's the journey?
Really?
Inside. And do you know what takes you on it?
DMT. He talks about it being like there's like another dimension and higher beings.
100%.
Really? That's what it's like?
100%. Like,
can you remember what you seen the first time?
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. So yeah, right, okay, this is mad. This is another moment of total nuts. Like, so I fell into this like so I always believed in like a society trap and like materialism and all that there, and not being bought into all that. And one day I walked into the shop, and there used to be a girl who worked in my shop called Rebecca, and I started like talking to her about DMT and stuff, and wanting to do it, like, and she was like, oh, what's that? And I explained to her, showed her videos, and she goes, I'm tattooing a shaman today. I was like, what?
A shaman?
What? And in pops this shaman into our shop, comes bounding up the stairs in through the door, and I immediately bone him straight away. I'm like, you're a shaman? And he's like, yep. And I goes, DMT? He was like, yep. And I was just like, what? And how is this happening? And he was just like, what, do you want to do it? And I was like, 110%, when am I doing it? Literally, that was like Monday morning. Wednesday, we're doing it. Like, no shit. And so me and my friend Chris gather ourselves up, shoot on down, roll into this boy's gaff. Like, he's a shaman. You can imagine what this boy's gaff's like 100% like shaman vibes. And he explains to us the whole thing, and I was the same, bit scared of what I was going to say, but I'd lost my granda.
And you'd also got sickness as well, so you had a lot going on.
Yeah, I had a lot going on. I had a lot of things that I wanted to... Yeah, a lot of things I wanted to figure out. I had this faith question as well in my mind. And so, yeah, bro, it was class. You ever been on like... so I'll tell you, right, so he goes, you can do it in 3 or like one massive like inhale. And like I said, 110 miles per hour, 1 speed go, 1 massive one. I don't even remember. Like I don't remember anything. I remember, I don't remember like I'm taking it out of my hand, anything, nothing. I just being gone. Literally, like the pineal gland in my head sounded like a crisp packet being crunched. I remember like this whole like outer body sensory shower of madness, like 100 mile an hour propelling into the abyss, right? And the feeling of having no body is very profound.
Right.
It's like lightweight. Like it's the strangest feeling where you don't feel like weight and 360 motion, and it's not like linear, and it was crazy. So that feeling's really like jarring. And when I opened my eyes, it was in the trip. I'm gonna close my eyes. I was in the trip as well. So I was in this mad dimension, you know,
right,
and had just left behind, you know, altogether. And I the first thing that I seen, it felt very waiting roomy-esque, like the void.
Yeah.
Let's say the void. I'll give it a name. And then as like I was in it, like when I was closing my eyes, I felt like I was traveling. Very spectral, like mandala things unfolding and all moving and like just craziness. It was beautiful, like. And in my mind, I had this question in my head that I wanted to know what was after, what happens after death. So I had this. I wanted to know where my granda went. That was honestly what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
And my granda, not so like there's not beings, like there is beings that you see. Like I seen like some very Egyptian sort of vibes and lots of gold, and like they talk about those little like wee like elf type things. So I seen those, and that was weird, but they didn't make much sense to me, all the stuff that I seen. But my granda came to me and I felt it, because I know what my granda's presence feel like even when I can't see him. And I had this real feeling of like, don't pity the dead, you know, I'm alright, I'm where I need to be type of thing. And the feeling of that, the fulfillment of that, the shackles off type thing, like I peered behind the curtains, like that's where we're going, man. That's like, this is. And my granda was first of Antrim, Christian man. He was just like, don't pity us, like it's the living that you should be worried about. And I just came out of it. I remember coming around a wee bit, my phone dinged in my pocket, and like sonar went up through my trip, and it went again, like this vibration through my trip in this other place, you know, where I am, you know. And I start coming to a wee bit, and I'm looking beside me, my friend's to my right, and he's in a trip too, and I'm heavily tripping balls like at this point. And I look at him once, and I look at him again, and he just disappears into the sofa, and I'm like, whoa. Start panicking a wee bit, you know, and I'm like trying to get my phone in my pocket, and like everything's messed up and all a wee bit funny, but still like not afraid, like I've got what I wanted. And what you get from DMT is an internal thing. It's not always verbal,
right,
and visual. I feel like the things that you learn are from the new person that you become. So you become this conscious being that was aware and has seen behind the curtain, and then everything becomes an acceptable thing, and things don't sound so crazy anymore because you've seen crazy. And so I come around when the shaman comes over, and he touches my leg. I think it was my leg. He comes across this way and he touches my leg and says, "You've got it." And he walks back 3 steps and comes back and says, "You've got this." And it repeats like 100 million times inside a couple of seconds, like on repeat, like back and forth. And then I'm really freaking out at this point. Like I'm like, oh, get me out of here. And that will last for a couple of seconds, and him flying back and forth, and then he disappears. And his girlfriend steps into the doorway, and she just disintegrates into the ground, gone. I'm like, oh, I'm still on this trip. I'm not fully out. Come to, and I'm still not fully in the room. I'm like, who cleaned this place? The place looked beautiful, mate. And when I went in, it was dusty ass as shit. Like, I was just like, whoa, this place is amazing. My eyes felt like I was seeing the world in a totally different film. My whole frontal lobe had been like completely cleansed. I got up and was like, I feel good.
How long from your perception did that experience last?
15 minutes.
And
My perception?
Yeah.
Oh, lifetime. I could, like, there's Alan Watts talks about, like, subjective time and, like, how many nights sleep when you dream in a subjective time would it take for you to dream about the life that you're dreaming now? And, like, I felt like I was in there for a lifetime. Like a lifetime, yeah.
And it was 15 minutes?
15 minutes.
That's mental. Because I heard, I think it was Joe Rogan podcast was talking about it. He was talking about somebody who had, like, raised a family, that had kids and raised the full family, and then come back round and was like, what? Like, I've just lost my entire family that I've spent 18 years raising, and that was a 15-minute trip, and you go, that's why I can't get my head around. I always want to try it, but
I have my moments like I standing in Portrush being like, oh, am I going to wake up on this guy's sofa? Because it's that real.
You still think that?
Sometimes when I'm like, need to pinch myself, I'm like that was insane. You know, like, I remember how long I was in there, and well, I wasn't in there long, but like subjective time's crazy because it feels visually it doesn't make sense, but it feels so real what you're feeling. It's and then so afterwards, like the feeling that you feel after, the happiness and the like severe happiness, like you can't help but feel it.
So I want to try it at some point. Obviously, have the fear. Didn't know there was somewhere over here that did it, but now I know there's a wee local shaman somewhere with a dusty house.
Yeah, 100%.
How? So you've said you've done it a couple of times. Is that personal preference or the?
I don't think it's recreational. Like, it's not like something.
No, it's not recreational, but like you said, like it gives you the calmness. And, I think it's like happiness.
It finds you.
So is it a one-time thing?
Can be.
Or do you find you have to go back for a top-up?
I have a friend called Clark, and he reached out to me, and he was in a bad way. Addicted to he won't mind me telling you this because he's had a great story. He wasn't doing too good and he was addicted to sort of prescription pills, and he reached out to me and he'd heard me talk about it, and he was just like, can you hook me up? I was like, 100%, I'll come with you. And
don't need an excuse.
Don't need an excuse. Went with him, watched him fight his demons, watched him roll on the floor, go the whole way through it, you know. And he actually said to me this year, actually, he plays football, and he said to me, he says, changed his whole life, never touched money again after it. It cures addiction, man. Gets rid of anxiety, it gets rid of all these mental health issues, and there should be more tests done on it, and it should be more readily available for people, because I remember, like, even Chris, like, saying to me, like, I am just not me anymore. I'm just, like, so happy, and I don't question myself, and I felt the same. I was like driving up a road like a Cheshire cat, wondering what that just happened. And you come out sober, bone sober.
Yeah.
Like completely bone sober.
It's not like alcohol where it wears off. It's like once you come out of that, you're out of it.
Bang, gone. You're there.
Yeah.
As soon as you're there, you're just straight back in the room. Like as if someone just zipped you back up the back. Like. So
you just come out of it and you can just drive home like.
Just chatted about it, and it just slowly develops on you. You start remembering bits and pieces, and like. Because at the time you're like, whoa, this is heavy, and then as you slowly go out and about your day and the weeks coming up, you remember wee bits about it. And
when you were going in to do it, were you psyching yourself up to be in a positive state going in, or were you going in like anxious or worried? Because that's my biggest fear. I think I'd be going into it like my demons are going to kick my fucking in here, like. But
there's a line in a song, I tried to drown my demons, but they learned how to swim.
Right.
And I always have this, like, I say this often. I says, how can I be so happy and so sad at the same time, and just trying to figure out how? So I am equally both parts at all times. Like, I can waver in and out. I'm very much on like that, like a wire without a sheath. You know, I'm very exposed, and I can I can play both parts. And I did have that thought where I was like, what if it like emphasizes that part of my personality and it's really sad and I never recover. And it made me more of who that person was. It made me a better person at feeling those things. Like it made me more conscious. It made me more I could put myself in people's shoes better, like more empathetically after. Like I was not as conscious as I am today before DMT. Definitely not.
I'm trying it. Don't know when, but I'm but I'm trying it.
It's just it's such a like it is literally like bro, it's class at the beginning, like that feeling, like that like Mike Tyson says, it's just like being fired in a rocket. It is that. And then you come to this crazy halt stop and you're in the waiting room of, you've broke through, you're behind the curtain, what's next? And you're in like, do you know you ever see the slingshot things where they shoot you off and you're sort of like swinging on your back in like in a state of nothingness? That's what it feels like. You're in like a gyroscope with no body though, and you're just floating off into the abyss. It's crazy. And then your thoughts then start like dictating what then's going to happen then, you know. But it's surrender as well. It's like anything. Yeah.
Right, if anybody's still listening, or if everybody's away, just Googling what DMT is.
Yeah.
If you're an aspired tattoo artist, because we've come with some heavy stuff there, so we get back to some value. If you're an aspiring tattoo artist, what would you recommend they do to start out in today's world? So,
I'm actually...
That's just a switch from DMT.
Yeah, so DMT, DMT's class. Don't do DMT. If you want to be a tattoo artist, do it when you're a successful tattoo artist, which you probably won't be a tattoo artist if you do DMT first. You end up going taking retreats on beaches and stuff like that there. So, like anybody that comes into tattooing, strong portfolio, strong interest. Sometimes I feel like the interest is more important than the strong portfolio. Learn how to respect a tattoo artist, get tattooed, get good tattoos. You will get bad ones, but like you'll learn.
Do you have any bad ones?
Oh, of course. Loads. But it's by learning those things that you become a better tattooer, more value to your industry, more value to your customers. I think before you ever think about tattooing someone, make sure you have those things in check. I always see when someone comes, send them away with some literature and stuff to watch about tattooing. Get their head around what it's like to be in the industry, because it's a very strange industry. There's a lot of unspoken rules, and to go into tattooing not knowing those things, you could be jousted quite quickly. And I think here in Northern Ireland, that's where you're going to get jousted, if any. We're quite tough on people, and we teach apprentices the proper way. I have had a different change of heart on tattooing and how people learn, because I spend time in America and I see things happen. I see like education and mentorship and all these things, and I actually am offering internship now at a cost, because I have given it away for free so many times that I don't think I could go through that again until my kids are ready to tattoo. And that internship is a full apprenticeship, no different to...
But then you pay 30 grand for uni.
100%. 100%. And it's not 30 grand to learn how to tattoo.
40.
No. No, it's at a cost, but it means that when you come to me, that you have something that you're going to lose, and because you could just come to me and take up 2-3 weeks of my life and me teaching you how to tattoo, and you just go, it's not for me. But yet you've left with so much of my value, and I've done that loads of times, and it hurts me deeply. So I'm not going to do that. There has to be a transaction now.
You need some skin in the game.
Yeah, skin in the game, 100%.
Well, if you're interested in tattooing, then the Stefan Getty internships are happening.
It's happening. But you will have to go through screening. It won't be open to everybody. It'll be like you're applying for an apprenticeship. Yeah. The same
no, but I know we joked about it, but like I said, you pay £30,000 for uni. Yeah. So going to an internship with you, I'm pretty sure you could start earning quite quickly.
Yeah, you will.
So like it's not like you're going to uni and then 3 years later you're coming out and starting at the bottom of a company 100%. To work up with debt. Yeah. Pay for the internship, start earning as you learn.
Yeah. And like, so I've seen this recently, FBA, brand builder type stuff, getting hammered online. But that's the same thing. You know, like everything's a gamble.
Yeah.
Like people go to university and do something that they never do the rest of their life, and pay it off and don't complain.
No.
You know, and we're no different. You know, but I'll hold your hand. Like I'll get you there. Like, and I have done. I've taught people who couldn't draw out of your way, and they're making a good living.
Is it rewarding seeing somebody you've taught
Yeah.
change their life?
The girl Rebecca, she was difficult to teach, but like so great when she's such a great member of staff, all the things. And it was great teaching her. There's some people I didn't enjoy teaching as much, but like I still love that they got there, you know. Like I have award-winning tattooers that I've taught how to tattoo, and like that's great. That feels amazing. That just adds more value to who I am.
Probably should have asked this earlier, but what was your first ever tattoo?
My sister's name.
Your sister's name?
Yeah, it was the only reason I was allowed to get it.
What age was your mum okay at that one?
Yeah, she would get that one. Got it that week of my work experience.
What was your second one that she didn't okay?
A dragon. And it was more like, see, when you're young and you're getting tattoos, I was talking about this today in the shop. It was like, you just get what you think is cool. You don't get what actually is cool. You just get whatever. And I was definitely a victim of that. And I would say to everybody, like, your ideas at 16 compared to 18, worlds apart. And then from 18 in your 20s, worlds apart. Your 20s to your 30s, worlds apart. Like,
have you ever covered one up with another one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a black arm.
You have a black arm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's guys that come in that listen. There's no recipe for the perfect tattoo. There's people who come in their 30s and get bad tattoos.
You talked about the show where you covered them all up. How did you feel, or how did your mum feel with you being like tattooless for a brief moment in time?
Yeah, so that was crazy. I looked really unwell.
Did you?
Yeah, I looked sick.
Did you look like a different person?
Yeah.
Like you weren't you?
Yeah, hard to look at yourself in the mirror. Like, it was like. So I always say tattoos for me are bookmarks. I've got really important tattoos on my body that are huge parts of my life. That I pay homage to and that I've put to bed, and good things and bad things, breakups and all sorts of different things. And when they were took away, it was like they never existed.
Sure.
And like I spent 8 hours putting this makeup on, spraying it on, took it off. My mum came in, and I wanted my mum to see me. There was this thing in my head that my mum, I remember getting a tattoo and my mum telling me that she made me. She was fuming. It was my eyelids, and she screamed this one sentence to me. It was just like, I effing made you. And like, I'm ruining what she made, and that weighed heavy on me. So when this opportunity came up with Channel 4, I was like, I'm going to get my mum's reaction when I'm back to zero, like tattoos, and see. Like, it was a big thing for her. I wanted her to see my hands without tattoos. I wanted her to see me without tattoos. See how she would like. And I thought it would be nice for her. Yeah. Walked in, she was just like, get it off.
get the makeup off.
Get it off. She's like, I don't like it. Get it off. It's like, that's not Stefan. She was just like, get it off. Your tattoos are you. And
was that nice to hear?
Yeah, it was nice, but it was also like, are my tattoos me? You know, it was that was also like that's not what defines me or makes me cool. And the director, I didn't really like him in many ways because he was trying to get this body confidence thing message across, and like how that was through tattoos, and I disagreed with that. But for my mum to see her baby, you know, without tattoos, that was important. I thought that would be cool, but she didn't like it, so waste the time bringing her in.
Waste the time. If there's one thing you could change about the industry, what would it be and why?
About my industry? Yeah. Tattooing is fickle. Very fickle. I wish they'd stop hanging people for trying to be different. I wish they would be more friendly and stop being so competitive. Like, I had people message me. I'm sitting first class on a flight to Vegas on Wednesday morning asking me, how do you have it like this and we're struggling back home? Other tattooers. And I was just like, whoa, like, I'm handling my business, like, you handle yours. Like, I wish you the best, but like, don't look at what's on my plate and compare it to yours. Like, that's not the way it is. I would rather people support each other and be like, well, fair play. One person out of my industry messaged me going, you deserve this. And multitudes of other people asked me, how did I do it?
Do you think they were asking in a negative way, or was some of them actually genuinely asking, like, help me?
I'd love to help them.
Would you ever do like a sort of mentorship program for, other shops?
In this internship, it's not just for beginners.
No.
It's not just for beginners. It's for people that have got stuck. I have this one guy, and I really have so much time for him. It's a guy called Colin. He comes into my shop. He's a friend of the shop. He's a good tattooer. Just never good enough to leave his full-time job, you know, and to make a good living at it. He's a bit older, and there's nothing I would want more for him to be a full-time tattooer and reap the rewards of that his ability shows. And like this course will be for guys like him as well, like just to get that mindset, to get that structure of shop life and what it takes to build that clientele and that recurrent income. Because I think a lot of people think it's just do a good tattoo and they'll come, but it's the whole show. Like it's what you drive, it's what you wear, it's how you talk, it's what you do in your personal life. It's all those things is all part of the circus.
I suppose like it's ink on your skin, like, so I suppose the whole industry is visual.
Yeah,
you know, it's what you see type thing.
100%.
What do you think makes you different? Like why did you succeed?
A mixture between ADHD and autism, I think.
There you go, folks.
You know, I only actually found that out, and it's so funny because my daughter was getting assessed, and through the assessment period, I'm like, they're saying all these things about her, and that's what I do. So someone told me that I was like, this is funny, this is professional level diagnosis. You're like a 2 on the autism scale. If you're very sociable, wouldn't know, but like a 1,000,000 on the ADHD scale, and they weigh each other out, so you're alright. It's got you where you are now. And I said to my mum, I was like, Mum, here, this is going on, I could potentially get diagnosed here. My mum was like, wouldn't change it, got you where you were, you know, this is what makes you special, you know, this is, if you had been told that younger, you probably used it as a crutch, you'd have leaned into it, you'd have been like, no, this is because of that. Whereas I think it's just like fall forward always. Like worst case scenario, and we touched on it the last time I was down here, that worst case scenario is I get benefits and I live in a council house. You know, it's the worst case scenario, so we're safe. Yeah,
actually, last time you were here, we were talking about that because it's something like me and Randy talked about a long time ago. Was I feel like we live in a non-lose society.
Yeah.
Where I know there is homelessness and there is, you know, sickness and death and all that carry on, but like really, people, you know, if everything fails, if you go bankrupt, if you lose your business, if you lose your job, most people have family to rely on, right? So number one, you have family. For the people that don't, we have a benefit system. Mm-hmm. So you can go and you can get benefits, you can get social housing. And like there is the odd case where people do slip through the cracks and they end up homeless and whatever the case is, but you know, 99.9% of the time, everyone will be okay.
Yeah.
And even if it's only a downturn for a couple of years so you get back on your feet, you're not going to not eat, you're not going to not sleep in a bed.
Yeah, 100%. So to answer like this, the superpower thing, like I think to know all that, I think like my superpower is that I ask the questions that are hard to ask, and I move in spaces where other people are afraid to move in. Like say yes and go. Like I don't. I heard a guy say one time, if you invite me to something, I'm going, whether I like it or not. And I always was just like, how magical would that be? You know, just always go. Figure it out when you're there, even if you don't know how, just go.
So you hear other, like, I've heard business gurus and stuff say your superpower in business is learning when to say no.
Yeah.
So your attitude is the other way, where it's like, say yes.
What's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, right? It doesn't work out, you've learned something.
What's the one time you said yes and you regretted it massively?
A few times. And they'll be watching and knowing because they're always like very public. Yeah. Well, there's things that I've went and wasted time.
Yeah.
Like I've been invited to be on TV shows and been invited to do different things, and I put in full investment and go, and it's all been a waste of time. You know. And it's more like, so I feel like people in our world overpromise because they are on this journey of faking it till you make it, wanting to make something work, and then they've got you hooked in, and you go, yes, I'll be part of it. That sounds great, but they haven't all the foundation built, and you rock up, and it's not what was promised, and you've already agreed. You know, that's happened a few times. Whereas like I get invited to do every bloody show known to mankind that comes along, but I will say no to some things. Like if it questions my integrity, if I feel like uncomfortable, I'll say no. But like I get invited to do a lot of things like this, and like I say no to a lot. Like
Should feel privileged then you came.
no, I thought it was the right thing to do.
Good stuff. No, it's been a very good conversation. I've enjoyed having you here. A couple of quick questions before you go. Then we'll wrap it up. Favorite tattoo on your body?
I would say my first tattoo. Yeah, it's my first tattoo. My sister's
First
name.
two sister.
Yeah.
Well, most meaningful is also the same.
It's the catalyst of the rest.
Catalyst there is. Most famous person you've met through tattooing?
Famous tattooer or just famous person?
Famous person.
That's a hard one. I met a bunch of bands, man, that were important to me, like Ollie Sykes and people like that. Didn't get to tattoo them or whatever, but through tattooing, was in a tattoo shop and got to meet them and stuff like tattooing. The people that I would want to meet hang out in tattoo shops. Like I remember being in Vegas, and I work in a famous shop in Vegas that's owned by Carrie Hart, and he's married to Pink, you know. So like I work in their shop, and that's huge.
Yeah.
I've tattooed members of Ellie Goulding's band and stuff, and you know, just like being about those like social circles of people that I can't even say, like signed NDAs, you know.
Oh, really?
Like I'm not allowed to say that I've been in their company. I was with a guy in Vegas, right? No shit, right? And he was like, I'll not say who he is, but he's quite a famous dude, and he had signed NDAs with another famous dude. Those NDAs didn't matter to him.
No.
But it's good fun.
Most random place tattooing's ever brought you?
Bro, see, have you ever been to Vegas?
No. You love Vegas, don't you?
No.
Do you?
No, I've been all over the world. Like I've done loads of things, but I was talking about this morning. There's not one type of person you'll see in Vegas.
No.
And that is a show that you want to witness. Like it's just every type of human being known to mankind, and it's just that's bonkers. Like, and I've done like spiritual places, like in Asia. I've done like big cities. I've done New York. I've done all, but there's nothing in comparison to that wee town in the middle of the desert where all the freak shows go.
Ever been disgusted by a tattoo you've had to do? And you've been like really...
Oh, turn away people, yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I say no to more tattoos than I say yes to.
Oh, actually?
Yeah.
So there's never been like a photo where you're going, ugh.
So I got asked out in the car on my story today that what do you want if you're always fully booked? Yes. So is there days that you're doing stuff that you're fully booked that you don't want to do?
Mm.
Like yeah, of course. But it's a service industry, and I put on my big boy pants and I get it done. But there is silly ideas.
Yeah.
Like there's a guy came into my shop, looked wearing clearly a Celtic fan, wanting a portrait of Steven Gerrard when Gerrard was the manager of Rangers. And I was like, bro, one, why? He goes, he's the best midfielder in did he say England? And we're in Northern Ireland. I was like, bro, we're in Northern Ireland. And he was like, yeah, but still, he's still the best midfielder. I was like,
this isn't going to go well for you.
I was like, yeah, and I was like, but he's also the Rangers manager. He's like, it didn't even like click. I was just like, bro, like this isn't a good idea. And he was like, oh, I'll get it somewhere else, like or whatever. And I was just like, all right, whatever, where you go. And there's loads of tattoos that have happened like that, you know, when their intrusive thoughts win. Like I have tattooed a guy that has covered up his a wife's name with a wife's name with a wife's name with a wife's name. We're just putting background on the bottom side of the name, and it's just went up his chest. Like, you wouldn't believe. Crazy.
Why keep doing it?
Because they're crazy.
Yeah.
But like disgusted, yeah. Like there's people that come in. Do you know like sexual deviants that have like these weird sexual things that they're into, like, and they want to be like, they want to commemorate whatever their wee role in that is, and they want that tattooed on them, and stuff makes you feel like kind of weird. But
I don't know if I should ask this, but it's just got to my head. Do you know how people have like weird kinks where things turn them on?
Yeah. Does tattooing do that? Yeah.
Anyone really? So
Yeah.
you've been tattooing somebody and they've been like moaning?
100%.
Really?
That happens more than you think.
Right enough. I thought
100%.
not that I thought they were sore because I'm a big boy obviously and have a tattoo, so I know the pain of tattoos.
No, 100%. Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, really?
Oh, we have a girl that comes and gets tattooed, and the sex noises she makes is mad.
Oh, she keeps coming back.
She clearly enjoys it, yeah. And everybody in the room's going. I'm like, "This here." Like, what's going on? Like, they sound familiar. She's having a good time.
So like
But whatever.
So like what happens like if your wife rings you and that's in the background? You'd be like, no, it's just Jolene.
Just
did
put the machine up to the phone, and that could sound like something else to do as well. So get that dildo away from the phone. What's going on? Yeah, no, seriously, like they do. There's people that say like, so there's two things people say, right? And it's so funny. Like they always go, "Oh, I get sleep." No, you can't.
No.
No, you can't sleep unless you're heavily medicated, and or I don't know why people say this is sore. I really enjoy this, and then you realize like that they're not the one you're bringing back to see your mum.
No.
You're like, whoa, okay. So like you want to get tattooed for 5 hours and be in excruciating pain? Think that's fun? Sweet. Yeah.
Sweet. No.
Yeah, I know that they exist. They do. They 100% exist.
How would you work on my tattoo?
See what you're doing there with that wrist strap?
Just keep
continue
keep
on.
doing it. Right. I should have knew that answer was coming. No, that was a stag stomp for me years ago. There was like 26 of us went in the stag do, and we all got this. Someone had a bright idea. We'll all get a stag stomp. It was a wee star.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's like 26 fully grown men there.
So you all had a bookmark?
All had a bookmark, aye, yeah.
Bet you remember what the weather was like that day and who you were with?
Oh, it was warm, aye, yeah.
Yeah, see? Doesn't matter what you get.
No.
You've just cemented a timing.
Again, probably advice. I'll tell you what, we'll leave it in this one. Probably advice for the audience, but also, again, advice for me, because I think that's the purpose of this podcast, is I enjoy having these conversations and learning, and the more the podcast goes on, the more rooms they can get into with more people like yourself,
100%.
and I can have these conversations. I've thought about getting the full sleeve from I got that whenever I was like 19, so or maybe 18, and I still have never done it. And I know the style I want. I want all shadow and shade work.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, no color. So I know the style I want, but I can't keep the same thing in my head for long enough, like picture wise, design wise.
Yeah. For
me to go, if I can't keep that in my head for a year, how do I put it in my body for life?
Could you keep it as a screensaver for a year?
Probably actually.
So why don't you try that? Put the design on your screensaver and see if that annoys you. Then you'll know. You'll be looking at it every day.
It's not more annoying. It's more like chopping and changing. But I've never actually thought of that about putting it in the real world.
Yeah, put it in the real world. So some like cliche people say, put it as your background on your phone. Like that idea. You look at it every day. If it annoys you, change it. You know. But indecisions are our biggest fear. Yeah. So like when a client comes in very indecisive, we immediately go red flag, red flag. Like, do they really?
So I'm a big red flag.
So yeah. So like, for example, you said I want it to be black and grey.
Yeah.
That's a genre of tattoo, but you didn't tell me what you want in black and grey.
Because that's what I don't know. I keep thinking, but I can't. I chop and change too much.
Yeah. So like I said, like put something out there that you're going to continue to look at, you know, and like then really mull it over. Like maybe even wear a fake tattoo for a while, see what you think. Just listen, tattooing's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think what even the viewers will like to know is that you don't have to have loads of meaning in a tattoo. It's okay to get a tattoo that looks good and has no meaning, because we're happy to do it. It doesn't have to be Miami Ink where they come in and you think there's cameras watching. You got to explain to me about the frog that you flipping loved one time. Because
that's one thing I've thought about. I actually like, I know you're going to laugh at me for this because it's such like a wee Spice Boy thing, but I like the rosary beads.
Yeah, no, I like them.
Visually, I think they look nice, but to me it's like, what am I going to get rosary beads in me for?
Yeah.
So you're saying it's okay if you just want it for an art piece?
100%.
Yeah.
Here, you like it, crack on.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to judge you.
I will though. I'll judge myself.
Yeah, 100%. But just don't get that tattoo. This is the one thing that you're not supposed to get. See, but everybody says, only God can judge me.
Right.
Does it ever look like judge? No. It always looks like fudge.
Right.
Always. You'll never not see it now. Only God can fudge me 24/7. Stay away from that and you'll be alright.
or some good advice for me and the viewers. Then, Stefan, I'm going to leave with one last question on the outro. What is the future for Stefan Getty, or what does it look like? What's next?
The future is exciting. So we hopefully we franchise this business and we put a few locations. I was massively inspired by a business out there that had 100 locations in one city.
One city?
Yeah.
That's capitalism right there.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All different types of versions of their one business in a city. So, yeah, not that massive, but like I'd like to have a few locations.
Yeah. And then will you just oversee and manage and steer the ship?
I'll hopefully through my internship be able to fill them.
Will you ever stop tattooing?
No.
Never.
I would do this for free if it wasn't a job.
Really?
Yeah, I love it. I told you it's the most addictive thing I've ever done.
Never let me start it then.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Good.
Never give me a go. Stefan, it's been great to have you, and yeah, like, to be honest with you, I'd love to do this again sometime.
Yes, man.
DMT.
DMT, man.
Yeah, just going to go there. But yes, find Stefan Getty on Instagram, all the social media platforms at Cloak and Dagger. I'll put the links to his socials down below.
Yes, man.
If you want to get booked in, you are very, very busy.
Yes.
Yes. But
my wife will get back to you. Yeah.
Yeah, but some of his interns and students, I'm sure, is
be happy to do it.
More than capable.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, here, great talking.
Yes, man. Thanks so much.
Yep.